Our question ID is 1416. A four-wheeled cart is going around a circular track. Which of the following statements is correct? If the four wheels are free to rotate independent of each other and the cart negotiates the track state. Okay. So there is a four-wheeled cart that is say moving around a circular track. So this is say the circular track in which a four-wheeled cart is moving. Okay, and another information that is given in the question is that these wheels are independent to rotate of each other. Alright, so for example, if uh, this wheel want to adjust according to the movement of the cart, it will. Now let us see the options. The first option is all wheels rotate at the same speed. The four wheels have different speeds each. The wheels closer to the inside of the track move slower than the outer side wheels. The wheels closer to the inside of the track move faster than outside wheels. Okay. Let's see the logic behind it. So, for example, let us assume that two wheels of the cart are here and other two wheels are here, and this cart is moving, say, in anti-clockwise direction, in this direction. All right, so the cart is moving. Now, if this is the center of these two concentric circles, we'll see the radius of these two circles will be different. Okay, for example, this is say R1 and this is say R2, and obviously radius 2 is greater than radius 1. Maybe radius 2 is outside. The radius 2 is the radius of the outer circle. Okay, and we also know that the circumference or the path that this cart will be covering is given by 2 pi r. Okay, so the outside wheels, these two wheels will cover a path that will be equal to 2 pi r. Okay, and these two wheels will cover a path of 2 pi r1. Obviously, because these are towards inside and these are towards outside. And we also know that R2 is greater than R1. So that means 2 pi R2 will be greater than 2 pi R1. That means the wheels that are towards outer wheels will have to cover a larger path length as compared to the wheels that are towards inside. But since cart is a single entity, it's one entity, it will cover this distance in the same time. Time will be same for both the path lengths. If any object has to cover the larger distance in same time, obviously its speed has to be greater. That means the speed of outer wheels will be greater than that of speed of smaller or inside wheels. Well, this can be understood by a simple example. For example, uh, let us assume that the outer circumference is say 20 meter and inner circumference is say 10 meter. Okay, and the time taken by both, since it's a single entity, is equal. Say it's 2 seconds. Okay, the speed of the first one, that is towards outside, because outside circumference is more, will be 20 divided by 2 equals to 10 meter per second, and the speed of second entity or second object that has to cover smaller length in the same time will be 10 divided by 2 equals to 5 meter per second. So speed of the wheels towards the outside, or the ones that has to cover more circumference or more path length, is higher than the ones that are inside. Okay. So this part, C, or third option, the wheels closer to the inside of the track move slower. Okay, they move slower than the ones that are outside. Okay. So this option is correct. The question ID of the next question is 1407, and the question goes like this. In a race, 5 drivers were in the following situation. M was following B. So M was following B. R was just ahead of T, and K was the only one between T and B. Who is in the second place at that instant? Okay, let us just make the situation. So the first information that is given is M was following B. So M was following B means B was ahead, M was behind B. Next part is R was just ahead of T. So we do not have T as of now. So we leave this part and come to the next part. K was the only one between T and B. So K is only one between T and B. So K cannot be here because M will be between them. And in the question, it is clearly given that K is the only one between T and B. So K is somewhere here and T is here. Now let us go to the part which is skipped. Okay. Now we have T here. R was just ahead of T. So R is just ahead of T. Ahead means in front of T. So here is R. So this is the alignment that we get after we placed everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers. Who was in the second place? So who is in the second place? T is in the second place. So the correct answer is option 3. So this is our next question. The question ID is 1419. Based on the bar chart shown here, which of the following inferences is correct? So on the y-axis of this bar chart is kg of rice produced per lakh liters of water. Okay. So there are 4 regions given: region A, region B, region C, and region B. So for region A, 1 lakh liters of water produces about 60 kg of rice. Similarly, for region B, the rice produced per lakh liters of water is 40 kg. For region C, it is 30 kg, and for region D, it is 20 kg. Now let us read the options. The first option is region A uses maximum water per kg of rice. Okay. So, however, from these options, it is clear that region D is using maximum amount of water. That because only 20 kg of rice is produced from 1 lakh liters of water. That means more water is required to produce rice in region D. Therefore, this option is incorrect. Next option is average water consumption for 4 region is 37.5 lakh liters. Okay, what usually will happen in this case is some of the students will just add the numbers given on the top. So 60 plus 40 plus 30 plus 20, and then we'll divide the entire part by 4, which will give them 37.5, and they will correct this answer. However, this option is incorrect. Why? Because this is not the amount of water used. Amount of water used is 1 lakh liter, 1 lakh liter, 1 lakh liter, and 1 lakh liter. This is the kg of rice produced. However, in the option it is given as average water consumption. All right. So this option is also incorrect. Let us read the third option. Region D uses thrice the amount of water used by region A per kg of rice. Okay, so let us see here. 1 lakh liter of water produces 60 kg of rice is an option in region A, whereas in region D, 1 lakh liter of water produces 20 kg of rice. So if we want to equate both of them, we'll have to make these equal. So we'll divide multiply this by 3 and multiply the left hand side as well by 3. So this will give 3 lakh liters of water will produce 60 kg of rice in option D. That means region D is using 3 times. So 3 times of 1 is 3. So 3 times the amount of water to produce same amount of rice in both the regions. So the correct option is answer is option C. Let us also read option D. Region B uses 20 lakh liters of water less than region A. However, this information is not given in the question because the total amount of rice produced or total amount of water used in either of the region is not given. What is given is kg of rice produced per lakh liters of water and not the total amount of water. Therefore, this option is also incorrect and hence the correct answer is option 3. The next question ID is 1403. The question is a multiple choice exam has 4 questions, each with 4 choices. Every question has only one correct answer. The probability of getting all answers correct by independent random guesses for each is. Okay. So there are 4 questions, each has 4 answers, however, only one answer is correct. Okay. So for example, let us consider for the first question. For the first question, getting the probability of getting the correct answer is 1 by 4, since there are 4 options. Similarly, for question second, the probability will be 1 by 4 for third question as well and for fourth question as well. Okay. So what the question asks is the probability of getting all answers correct by independent. So we have to get all the answers correct. So that means the probability of getting first answer correct would be 1 by 4 into getting the second answer as well correct will be into 1 by 4 and getting the third correct as well and getting the fourth correct as well. So this will be the probability of getting all the answers correct. This could also be written in the form of 1 by 4 raised to the power 4. Hence, the correct answer is option 2. So next question is 1404. How many non-square rectangles are there in the following figure consisting of 7 squares? Okay. So what this is asking is how many rectangles which are not squares are present in this figure. Okay. Let us start counting. We'll start with this one. Okay. So we'll start from the top. So first, this is say 1, say this is 2, this is 3. Okay. Now from the bottom. So 4, this is 5, and the central one, this is 6. So there are total 6 rectangles here. Now let us see this one. 1, so this is 1. Similarly, this is 2, and this complete one is 3. Okay. So here are 3 more rectangles, and one rectangle is this. Okay, here in this part. So one rectangle is this. A total number of total rectangles will be 6 plus 3 plus 1, which is equals to 10. Hence the correct answer is option 3. So next question is 1410, and the question says if k exclamation mark is equals to 1 into 2 into 3 into dash 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 into k, which is the largest among the following numbers? Okay, so this means, for example, if the value of k is 4, then k exclamation mark will be equal to 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Okay, or this can also be written in the opposite way, which will also be equal to 1 into 2 into 3 into 4. Okay. So the first option, it is asking that which one of these is the largest. Let us see the first option. Okay. The first option is 2 raised to the power 1 by 2. That means 2 into 1 square root. Okay. So 2 into 1 square root will obviously be lower than 2. That means it would be 1 point something. Okay. Now let us see the second option. So 3 exclamation mark into raised to the power 1 by 3, which is also equals to cube root of 3 into 2 into 1, or cube root of 6. So since cube of 1 is 1, cube of 2 is 2, 2 is 4, 2 is 8. That means the cube root of 6 will be somewhere between 1 and 2. Okay, we don't have to find the exact figures, we'll just go through the options. The third option is 4 exclamation mark raised to the power 1 by 4. So say 4 exclamation mark raised to the power 1 by 4, which is equals to 4 root of 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So this is equals to 4 to the 8, 8 to the 24, 24 roots 4 times. So 4 times, so 1 into 1 into 1 into 1 is 1. So that means the 4 times root of 24 will be somewhere greater than 1. 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 will be, so 2 into 2, 2 2 is a 4 to the 8, 2 is a 16. Okay, and so that of 3 will be 3 into 3 into 3 into 3. Obviously greater than 24, you don't have to calculate even if you don't know this current. It is fine. So 3 is a 9, 9 9 is 18. So that means the 4 times root of 24 will be somewhere between 2 and 3. Okay. Let's see the fourth option. Okay. So the fourth option is 3 exclamation mark divided by 2. 3 exclamation mark. That means 3 into 2 into 1 divided by 2. So this will be crossed and the answer is 3. That means this is the greatest answer. Why? Because the answer for this third part will lie somewhere between 2 and 3, but not 3. Similarly, for this, the answer will lie somewhere between 1 and 2, but which is obviously less than 3. And similarly, for this one, the answer will lie somewhere between 1 and say 2. So again, less than 3. Therefore, the correct answer is option 4. So next question is 1412. So the question says, of 3 children, Uma plays all 3 of cricket, football and hockey. Iqbal plays cricket but not football, and Tarun plays hockey but neither football nor cricket. The number of games played by at least 2 of the children. Okay. So first, let us write Uma. So Uma is playing all 3. So cricket, football and hockey. Okay. So next is Iqbal. Iqbal plays cricket and does not play football. And but for hockey it is not given. So he may or may not play hockey. May or may not. So next is Tarun. Tarun plays hockey but do not play football or cricket. And the question is the number of games played by at least two. Okay, so how many total games are there? There are a total of 3 games. So as we can see, cricket is played by Uma and Iqbal. So this is one. Football is played by Uma only, and it is not played by Iqbal. Neither is it played by Tarun. So it is not played by two. Hockey is played by Uma, and hockey is played by Tarun. It may or may not be played by Iqbal, but the question says by at least two children. So two children are playing hockey. That means hockey is one. So one was cricket and one is hockey. So total of 2 games are played by at least two children. Therefore, the correct answer is option 2. The next question is 1417. A two-digit number is such that if digit 4 is placed to its right, its value would increase by 490. The original number is. Okay. So for example, we add 4 to the right of all these numbers. So this will become 484. This will become 544. This will become 644. And this will be 564. Okay. So the question says it will increase by 490. That means if you subtract this number from these numbers, you should get 490. So if you see this number, at its unit place is 8 and unit place is here 4. So if you subtract 8 from 4, this will not come out to be 0. This will be 2. So this option is incorrect, and same is the case for this option. Okay, so the unit place will be 8 and not 0. So the correct answer is either option 2 or option 3. So we subtract say 54 from 544. The answer will be 0, 9 and 4. So 490. Let us see for option 3 as well. If we subtract 64 from here, the answer will be 0 and 8, 580. Hence, the correct answer is option 2. The next question is 1411. Which is the curve in the figure whose points satisfy the equation y equals to constant, let us take it as a, into e raised to the power x. Okay. So we'll go into the options one by one. So this is A option, which is this graph. However, since x is to the power of e, let me first tell you that e is a constant whose value is somewhere around 2.70. Okay, so it is also a constant, and when x is raised to the power a constant, then the value of y increases exponentially, and an exponential graph will look somewhat like this. Okay, and not like this. Therefore, this option is incorrect. Okay. Because the reason is very simple. So, for example, if the value of e would have been 2, so we can take it as 2 and not 2.72, just to simplify our calculations. So the value would increase in a way like 2, 4, 8. 60, 52, and so on, 64. So the value of y will increase exponentially, considering the value of a is 1 in this case. Okay. Now we go to option B. What's happening here is the value of x is becoming negative, however the value of y is increasing. So this is not possible. Why? Because let us say x is negative. X is negative means -1, -2, -3. So when x is negative, the equation will become something like this: a into e raised to the power say -1. So this can be written as a into 1 upon e. Similarly, if the value of x is -2, it can be written as a into 1 raised to the power 1 upon e raised to the power 2. Okay. So this value will increase, and therefore this entire value will decrease because the denominator is increasing, and therefore the value of y will also decrease. But in this case, what is happening? The value of y is increasing. Therefore, this option is also incorrect. Now we come to option C. What is happening in option C? So the value of x is becoming more negative, same as this option, becoming more negative, but the value of y is becoming less negative. That means it is increasing, and which is possible. Let me show you how. So for example, the value of x is decreasing. It's becoming -1, then -2, then -3. However, the value of y will always be positive unless the constant is negative. Why? Because let me see. So, for example, x is say -1. X is -1 would mean a into e raised to the power -1, which is equals to a upon e. Okay, and this value will be positive because the value of a is 2.72, and 2.72 raised to the power 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will always come out to be positive. However, if the value of a is negative, say -1, only then the value of y will be negative. That means in this case, the value of a is negative. Okay, value of a is negative. Now, what is happening? What is happening is the value of e is increasing as the value of x increases. However, since e is in the denominator, e is in the denominator, so e raised to the power 1, e raised to the power 2, e raised to the power 3. So what will happen? The value will keep on decreasing. The value are, what's happening? The value are decreasing because the denominator is increasing. However, here is the tricky part. Because this a is negative, a is negative, that means the value will now increase. Now increase, that means they will become less negative. Okay, for example, we can surely use say -1 upon the e we can consider 2 for this part. So x is say -1, that means 1 upon 2 raised to the power 1. So next is -1 upon 2 raised to the power 2. Therefore next is -1, 2 raised to the power 3. So this will be minus 0.5. This will be minus 0.25, and this will be minus 0.125. And what's happening here? The value of y is increasing. Increasing how? It is becoming less negative. Okay, so this option is correct. We can go through option D as well. So what's happening in option D? So the value of x is getting more positive. However, the value of y is getting more negative. Well, it is not possible because just we saw that the value of y can only be negative when the constant is negative, and as x becomes more positive, the value of y will become more negative. Okay, the value of y will become more negative. For example, just here, when the value of x is 0, the value of y is also 0. Not possible. Why? For example, the value of y can only be 0 when the constant is 0. So y equals to a into e raised to the power x. So when x is 0, so e raised to the power 0, anything raised to the power 0 is 1. So y will be equal to a. But for y equal to be 0, that means a has to be 0, but a is not 0 in this case because y is also getting negative. Y is also getting negative value, and negative can only be possible when a is negative and not 0. Therefore, option D is also incorrect. Hence, the correct answer is option C. The next question is 1420. The question says, what day of the week will be 61 days from a Friday? So today is Friday, but will be 61 days from Friday. So we all know that there are 7 days in a week. So we will just divide 61 by 7, and that will come out to be 8, 56, and remainder will be 5. So 8 weeks will be completed in those 61 days, and 5 days will be left. So we'll just count 5 days from Friday. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So the fifth day would be Wednesday. Therefore, the correct answer is option 4. The next question is 1406. In a college admission where applicants have to choose only one subject, 1/4 of the applicant opted for biology, 1/6 for chemistry, 1/8 for physics, and 1/12 for maths. 18 applicants did not opt for any of the above subjects. How many applicants were there? Okay, so there are two types of applicants: one who chosen one of the subjects, and one those who have not opted for any subject. So let us see how many have chosen for one subject. Okay, so we'll say them the chosen ones. Okay, so 1/4 have opted for biology, 1/6 have opted for chemistry, 1/8 has opted for physics, and 1/12 has opted for maths. So we'll just take the LCM of 4, 6, 8, and 12. That will come out to be 24. So 4 6 are 24, 6 plus 6 4s are 24, plus 4 plus 8 3s are 24, plus 3 plus 12 2s are 24. Okay, so this will be 4 10 15, 15 by 24, and if we simplify this will be 5, and this will be 8. Okay, so 5 by 8 of the students have opted for one of the subjects, and 18 have not opted for any subject. So there are in fraction, the highest value is 1. So those who have not opted for any subject will be 1 minus 5 by 8, and that will come out to be 3 by 8. So if 3 by 8 have not chosen for anyone, that means this is equals to 1 by 18, or sorry 18, and we have to find the total number of students. What is the total number of students? Total number of students is 1. So, because the fraction is 1. So this will go here into 8, and this will come to the denominator 3. This has gone up. So this will be 1 equals to, or 1 fraction. This is fraction. Do not confuse it with number. This is one fraction equals to 18 into 8 divided by 3. So 6 3 is 18 and 6 8 is 48. So total number of students are 48. Therefore the correct answer is option 4. The next question is 1401. And the question says, what is the ratio of surface area of a cube with side 1 centimeter to the total surface area of cubes formed by breaking the original cube into identical cubes of 1 length? So first we'll have to find out how many smaller cubes will be formed from a larger cube. And this can be found out using the volume, because the volume of the larger cube will be equal to the total volume of the smaller cube. Okay. And before that, we'll also have to convert this unit centimeter into millimeter so that the units remain same. So 1 centimeter equals to 10 millimeters. So that means the side of the larger cube is 10 millimeters. Now, the volume of the cube can be written as A cube, which will be 10 into 10 into 10 equals to 1000 millimeter cube. Okay. And the volume of the smaller cube will be 1 into 1 into 1. Since the side of the smaller cube is 1 millimeter. So this will be 1 millimeter. And total number of cubes that will be formed from the larger cube will be volume 1 upon volume 2. So which will be equal to 1000 upon 1 equals to 1000. So a total of 1000 cubes will be formed from the larger cube. Okay. Now let us come to surface area. The surface area of a cube is 6 feet square. So first we'll calculate the surface area of the larger cube, which will be 6 into 10 into 10, that is equals to 600 millimeter square. So this is the larger surface area, that is represent capital S. Now this side of the smaller cube is 1 millimeter. So the surface area of one small cube will be 6 into 1 into 1, which is equals to 6 millimeter. But there are thousands such small cubes. So this the total surface area of all the cubes will be 6 into 1 to 3000 or 6000 millimeter square. And what is the question asked? The ratio of the two surface areas. So the ratio of the two surface areas will be 600 upon 6000, which is equals to 1 upon 10. Therefore, the correct answer is option 2. The next question is 1409. The question says, which of the following 7-digit numbers cannot be a perfect square? So A is 45xyz26. B is 2xyz175. C is xyz3310. So there are certain rules for a number to be a perfect square. Alright, the first basic rule is the ones place should be either of these. Either it should be a double zero, or it should be 1, or it should be 4, or it should be 6, it should be 5, or 9, 7. So the unit place has to be either of them. If it is not, then it cannot be a perfect square. Okay. So we have here 26, so 6 is there. We have here 75, so 5 is there. And we have here 1 0. So no, no doubles or 1, 4, 6, 5 or 9. Therefore, C cannot be a perfect square. Okay. C cannot be a perfect square. Now, when the unit place is 5, the tens place of a perfect square will always be 2. That means the number, a perfect square of 5 at one's place will always end at 25. You can see some examples. 5 5s are 25. Okay, 25 25 is 625. 15 15 is 220. Similarly, so there is a rule: if the ones place is 6, the tens place will always be a odd number. Okay, will always be a odd number. What are odd numbers? 1, 3, 5, 7 or 9. The ones that are not divisible by 2. However, here this number is even, so this also cannot be a perfect square. Okay, this cannot be a perfect square. So the correct answer is option 4 or 3. None of them can be a perfect square. So it's a very strange rule. If you come across by any others such rules, please mention in the comment box for our viewers to know. The next question is 140. Karan's house is 20 meters east of Rahul's. Okay. So this is a question of direction. We will first make the directions. So this is north, this is south, this is east, and this is west. Okay. So Rahul's house, let us assume that this is Rahul's house. Okay. Karan's house is 20 meters to the east of Rahul. So here, this is Karan's house. This is 20 meters east of Rahul's house. Mehul's house is 25 meters to the northeast of Rahul's house. Okay, so northeast will be in this direction, and this is 25 meters. Whose house? Mehul's house. Mehul's house is 25 meters to the northeast of Rahul's house. With respect to Mehul's house, in which direction is Karan's house? Okay, so in which direction is asking is Karan's house? So this is 25 meters. Okay. If you see clearly, this is this is these are the lines of a right angle triangle. Okay, so because this is like square of 25 will be 625, square of 220 will be 400. Okay, if you subtract it, the answer will be 225, and 225 is the square of 50. So this will be 15 meters just above Karan's house. That means Karan's house is to the south of Mehul's house. Okay. Correct answer is option 2, south. So the next question is 1415. An ice cube of 10 centimeter cube is floating over a glass of water of 10 centimeter square cross-sectional area and 10 centimeter height. The level of water is exactly at the brim of the glass. Given that the density of ice is 10% less than that of water, what will be the situation when the ice melts completely? Okay. So this is the glass, and it is completely filled with water. Also, a cube of ice is floating in this water. And the volume of this cube is 10 centimeter cube. So the water is also filled up to the brim of the cup, that is up to the top of the glass. Now the question is, what will happen when this ice melts completely? So one fact that we should know: when ice floats over water, So 90% of it is below 1, but 10% of it is above 1. Okay. Another thing that is given in the question is that the density of ice is 10% less than density of water. How much is 10%? Now, when the ice melts, two things will happen simultaneously. One, the part of the ice that is above water, that is 10%, will mix with water, and therefore the volume of water should increase. Okay. However, since the density of ice is 10% less than that of water, the volume will decrease by 10%. So that means an increment of 10% and a decrement of 10%, that will average out to be 0. And there will be no net result on the amount of water in the glass. Okay. So there is no change in the level of water, therefore option 4 is correct. The next question is 1402. The mean of set of 10 numbers is n. Mean means average. Average of 10 numbers is m. By combining with it a second set of m numbers, the mean of the combined set becomes 10. What is the number? What is the sum of second set of numbers? So mean of 10 numbers is m. So that means the sum will be 10m. Sum of first 10 numbers is 10m. And number of numbers are 10. By combining with it a second set of m numbers, the mean of the combined set becomes 10. Okay. So there is a second set of numbers that are m. So if you see the total number becomes m plus 10. So m of the second set and 10 of the first. And the total mean becomes 10. That means the sum becomes m plus 10 into 10. Or this could be written as 10m plus 100. So this will be the sum of all the numbers, be it the first set, the second set. This is what is the sum of the second set of numbers. So sum of second set of numbers will be 10m plus 100. This is the total sum minus the sum of first set of numbers, that is 10m. M, 10m, 10m cancels, and the sum of second set of numbers will be 100. Therefore, the correct answer is option 4. The next question is 1413. In a very old stable forest, a particular species of plants grows at a maximum height of 3 meters. In a large survey, it is found that 30% of the plants have heights less than 1 meter, and 50% height plants have heights more than 2 meters. From this observation, you can say that the height of the plants increases at slowest rate when they are less than 1 meter. So we'll see. So 30% of the plants have heights less than 1 meter, and 50% of the plants have height more than 2 meters. That means about 20% of the plants have height between 1 to 2 meters. Option 2 is at the fastest rate when they are between 1 meter and 2 meters. At the fastest rate when they are more than 2 meters tall, at the same rate at all stages. So see option 4. We'll start from option 4. At same rate at all stages. If the plants were growing at the same rate at all stages, all these percentage would have been same or similar. Okay, so there would have been equal number of plants of all heights, of 1 meter, of more than, of less than 1 meter, of more than 2 meters, of between 1 and 2 meters. Okay. So option 4 is incorrect. At the fastest rate when they are more than 2 meters. So there are about 50% of the plants that are more than 2 meters. That means they have already reached 2 meters and above, and they are not growing now. Either they are, because the maximum height is 3 meters. So they are not growing, or they are growing very slowly. That is why they are into that bracket of more than 2 meters. Okay. So this also incorrect. That means they are not growing fastest when they are more than 2 meters. At the fastest rate when they are between 1 and 2 meters. So that means when they are between 1 and 2 meters, there are only 20% of such plants. 20% of such plants, that means most of the plants in this bracket, 1 to 2 meters, have already grown or grown very fast, so they reach this bracket very quickly. That means they grow fastest when they are between 1 to 2 meters. And that is why there are less plants, less percentage of plants between this bracket. Therefore, this option is correct. Let us also see option 4. At the slowest rate when they are less than 1 meter tall. So there are 30% of the plants that are less than 1 meter. So they are growing slowly, but not as slow when compared to the plants that are between the bracket of 1 to 2. So this option is also incorrect. And the correct answer is option 2. The next question is 1418. A cyclist covers a certain distance at a constant speed. If a jogger covers half the distance in double time as the cyclist, the ratio of the speed of the jogger to that of cyclist is. Okay. So let us consider the terms for distance and speed. First for cyclist. So let the distance be d and the speed be s, and time equals to t. Or let the speed be sc, c for cyclist. So sc is equals to distance upon time. Now for the jogger. The distance covered by jogger is half of the distance covered by the cyclist. That means d by 2. This is for the jogger. And the time taken is double that of the cyclist. That means 2t. So speed of the jogger will be equal to, because the speed is distance upon time. So distance in this case is d by 2 and time is 2. So the speed equals to d by 4t. Now the question is the ratio of speed of jogger to that of cyclist. So speed of jogger is d upon 4t, and that of cyclist is d by t. So we'll just simplify it. D upon 4t into d, and this t will go as the numerator into t. So d cancels d, t cancels t. So the ratio is 1 by 4, and therefore the correct answer is option 1. So the question number is 1405. Okay. A bag contains 8 red balls, 10 blue balls, 17 green balls. What is the minimum number of balls that needs to be taken out from the bag to ensure getting at least one ball of each color? Okay. So the first option is 19. Okay. So for example, 19 balls are to be taken out. Okay. But there is a possibility that first 17 balls are green and next two balls are say red, either red or blue. So this will not ensure that the ball of third color are taken out. So this option is incorrect. Same is the case for option 2. So for example, the balls that you take out are all red or blue. So 8 red and 10 blue. Then green balls will be left and green balls will not be taken out. There is another possibility that the 17 balls are say green and one of the ball is red. So in that case, blue balls won't be taken out. So therefore this option is incorrect. Now option 3. So there are three possibilities. For first, say all the red balls are taken. 8 red balls are taken. And thereafter 17 say green balls are taken. Plus 17. So that means 25. So there will be still 3 balls left that will be of blue color. Now if we consider that 17 balls are taken out first, green balls, and 10 blue balls are taken out next. So this is 27 balls. Still one ball will be left. That has to be of red color. So all the colors, the balls of all the colors will be taken out in this case. Therefore, the answer is correct. The answer is option 3. Let us see the fourth one as well. So, for example, you start taking out the balls, and the first 17 balls are of green, okay, and the next 10 balls are of blue color. So total becomes 27. Now red balls have not even been touched. Therefore, even in this case, there is a possibility that red balls might not be taken out. Hence, the correct answer is option 3. The next question is 1414. The results of a survey to find the most preferred leader among A, B, and C is shown in the table. The votes first preference, second preference, third preference, and these are the candidates A, B, and C. And these are the number of voters who preferred these leaders. First, second, and third are given preferences, and their weights are 3, 2, and 1. So, first preference will be given 3, second preference 2, and first preference 1. Statistically, which of the following can be said to represent the preferences of the voters? So, let us see what happens here. So, since the votes have been given weights, we just multiply this with their weights. So this entire thing will multiply by 3, this will multiply by 2, and this will multiply by 1. So for 1 it will remain the same. For 3, this will be 39. For A, for B, this will be 162, 12, and for C, this will be 99. Let us see for second preference for this score 48 for A and 74 for B and 78 for C. Okay. And the third preference remains the same since the weight is 1. And let us see the total weights that they have got, total score that they have got. So 8, 8, 16, 9, 25, 2 to 4, 13, 20, 205, 4 to 6, 9, 15, 1, 4 to 6, 9, 15, 1, 7, 7, 40, 1, 2, 40, 9 plus 3, 12, plus 3, 20, you can make it 5, 10, this is 1. So clearly, B seems to be the most preferred leader, followed by C and then A. Let us see the options now. Option Option 2 is clearly given that B is the most preferred leader, which can be seen from the data as well. So the correct answer is option B or option 2. So you can see the other options as well. For example, option C, 4, C is the most preferred candidate or leader. No. A and C are within 10%. So being 10% of 245 will be somewhere around 24.5, and subtracting 24.5 uh, from 245 will be 220, so not possible. Similarly, for A and C, the difference has to be 10%. This is in A and C 10%, 150, 205, clearly not 10%. So this option is incorrect as well. Therefore, the correct answer is option